So MUSALIA Mudavadi is being taken to task over that nomination of a prime cabinet secretary. But the intrigue of this position is that it is not in the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. That's what it is a bit shocking to the team that is, conducting that vetting process. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome you to the analysis of Yoleno TV. And once again, I'd like to urge you to subscribe to our channel if you are not subscribed before. Thank you so much for those who've been supporting us to this level. And it's because of your support that we managed to hit these subscription numbers. That is 12,000 and about 300 subscribers. So, Opiyo WANDAYI put MUSALIA Mudavadi to task over some of the previous utterances that he used to make.
The Honorable Mudavadi, and following or notwithstanding the ruling by the Speaker a while ago, you obviously know that in the coalition agreement that you entered into within the Kenya Kwanza Alliance, you did appreciate the fact that the position to which you have been nominated did not exist, or does not exist even as we speak. And that's why in that agreement there was a commitment that within 30 days a legislation shall be introduced in Parliament to provide greater legal clarity on the position, roles and functions of Prime Cabinet Secretary. That is at Article 21K of that agreement. I happen to have gone through it in the House after being tabled by my friend Honorable Kimani Chungwa. It goes ahead to say that the legislation to be introduced shall amend the National Government Coordination Act to include the office of Prime Cabinet Secretary as proposed hearing to the existing structures under the aforesaid Act. Do you understand it? Doesn't this really confirm that without such legislation having been introduced, now more than 30 days since the election, the position to which you are being proposed or recommended or nominated is anchored on quicksand, constitutionally speaking? That is one. Two, you were asked a while back if you have been mentioned in any corruption case or scandal, and I listened to your answers. But let me jog your memory, Honorable Mudavadi. On the civil case number 280 of 2007, that is the Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission versus Wycliffe MUSALIA Mudavadi. In this matter, you are being accused of having fraudulently acquired property in Woodley Estate in Nairobi, property that belonged to the public, a property that was under the care of the Nairobi County Council then. This property is reference number LR number 209-13539/129. What do you have to say about this? And if indeed it is true that you participated in what Kenyans would love to call grabbing of public property, public land, how does that sit with the requirements under Chapter 6 of the Constitution, that if by any chance you are approved, you will be swearing to protect and adhere to? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll start with that very point. This is the Woodley Estate,
in which MUSALIA Mudavadi said that they've been paying to the county government a rent of undisclosed amount over the same of that estate, Woodley Estate, and that MUSALIA Mudavadi agreed that they've been living in that estate for quite some time. Was put to task to illustrate or to tell the committee how honest he is going to be, owing to the fact that he has been decamping from one party coalition to another party coalition. And within a span of 1 year, he has been in 2 party coalitions. Musalia Mudavadi was again, put to task to answer to those previous utterances of him castigating changing of constitution. You remember the Kenya Kwanza kept saying that the Azimio One Kenya Alliance are only hell-bent on changing the constitution so that particular individuals within the alliance can get positions. So Musalia Mudavadi was put to task to answer to those, and again he was put to task to answer to those previous statements that he made about opposing any further borrowing by the government. Also, when they made those utterances that the positions were not a priority to the Kenya Kwanza government and that their priority was creating jobs for the common wananchi, the priority was lowering the cost of living for the common wananchi, but then we find that their only priority this time round has been creating a position for the third in command. So the third in command, according to the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, rests with the Speaker of the National Assembly. So Musalia Mudavadi was put to task to answer to those to that allegation or to that fact that the third in command is the Speaker of the National Assembly. And why would he consider himself the third in command? Because according to the Constitution, the third in command is the National Speaker. Musalia Mudavadi was also put to task to give those indicators of economic revival, owing to the fact that the Kenya is faced with a lot of economic challenges, and that with the debt that is now known by so many people in Kenya, and how is it going to revive the economy? That was one of the tasks that was given to Musalia Mudavadi. So also, Musalia Mudavadi was put to task to tell the people whether he believes that the post of the Prime CS exists in the Republic of Kenya. Because we know very well that a law was supposed to be enacted to facilitate this position. But since that law was not enacted, the assumption by the Speaker is that the President is allowed to create any position that would give him an easy way of managing the country. So maybe one of those roles that he deems necessary is the creation of the Prime Cabinet Secretary. And by the way, the Prime CS, Musalia Mudavadi was given a CS without a portfolio. So by default, he is expected to coordinate some of those functions. But again, Musalia Mudavadi was put to task to answer to those public perception that most of the roles that have been assigned to him are roles that are Rigathi Gachagua's. So how he is going to work towards delivering in those roles, considering the fact that Rigathi Gachagua will also want to deliver, so that he cannot be seen as a puppet deputy president. And also there was this talk of BBI. You know, previously Musalia Mudavadi was one of those people who used to campaign hard for the BBI, and he was put to task and to maybe shed light on why he is now considering BBI as a gone topic, and that BBI is not a priority to the Kenya Kwanza government. So, but Musalia Mudavadi said that some of those clauses or some of the details of BBI are very, very important to the Republic of Kenya, and that the only thing that, according to him, is not right to be put within the BBI is the creation of ombudsman. But if you look at the judiciaries, most of these judicial rulings, then you realize that ombudsman is a very, very important docket to be created, because then who will oversee the decisions that the Supreme Court makes? Because the public perception about the Supreme Court's ruling is that Supreme Court was bought. So who will actually look into these perceptions on these allegations? Then I think the ombudsman was supposed to play a critical role, that if you make bad decisions, we as the ombudsman office have a right to return that decision back so that it can be adjudicated well. So I think that's the reason why Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was championing for the ombudsman, is because it would have played a critical role in overseeing some of those decisions by the judiciary. You have seen recently some of those corruption allegations when some of those corrupt individuals were vindicated, but these corruptions cases were brought back. And then you've seen cases like the case of Babayao. These are people whose cases have been in the courts, but they were set free. You even saw the senator for Meru County, Lintika Runtuli's case of, rape case, and again he was pardoned over that case. So that's why the ombudsman role was very, very critical. I think, according to me, I think I side with the Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga, because the ombudsman role was going to play a critical role in looking at these decisions that the Supreme Court and the judiciary makes. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think Musalia Mudavadi is still being put to task on that vetting process. But the question that we still think the Speaker of the National Assembly, who is not the chair of that appointing committee, should address well is this prime CS that is not anchored in the Constitution. How is it being handled? How will it be handled? And what can stop a common wananchi from going to court to contest the same, that this post is illegal? I think those are some of the things that the Speaker of the National Assembly should come clear on. And also, I'm foreseeing a scenario where by now there will be a problem between the Speaker of the National Assembly and the Prime Cabinet Secretary, because the Prime Cabinet Secretary will want to term himself as a third in command, whereas the law is very clear that the third in command is the Speaker of the National Assembly. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to rest my case there. But until we meet again for another analysis, I'd like to urge any first-time viewer or any regular viewer who doesn't subscribe to our channel to please consider subscribing and consider supporting us. And once again, I'd like to say thank you so much for those who've been supporting our channel to this far. And I would like to rest my case there. But until we meet again, please stay safe and please stay blessed.